Hi everybody, this is Kevin and welcome back to another anime review. And today I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on episode 18 of Digimon Ghost Game, which I just finished watching. And holy shit, dude, this episode was all over the place. A lot of fun. And really, once you come to the realization that the series is pretty much a monster of the week, you know, a different villain for each episode, with some overarching plot, because again, they did reference that, oh, maybe we shouldn't have Gaomon Digivolve because he'll turn into Gullus Gaomon again. And they were talking about that because, you know, we had, what's the guy's name? Angoromon Digivolved and Jellymon Digivolved. And then Hero was the last to have Gaomon Digivolve because he's like, oh no, he might turn into Gullus Gaomon. It's too unpredictable because he has the 4 different Digivolutions, whereas Angoromon and Jellymon just have the 1. But this is sort of like a parody of Peter Pan in a certain sense, because the villainous Digimon is named Petermon, and he's going around kidnapping children, taking them to Never Ever Land so that they won't grow up, and he's like, oh, you guys stink of grown-ups. Like, there's this one part where he's trying to kidnap, you know, Hiro, Kiyoshiro, and Roly, and he's like, oh, you stink of grown-ups, and then Roly says, oh, we're not grown-ups, we're in junior high. So I thought that was kind of funny. And especially at the end there, we get another Digimon who appears, which I'll show you in a minute. But again, if you're new to the channel and to these reviews, this is spoiler discussion. I'm assuming that you've watched the episode and are just watching along to, you know, partake in the discussion in the comments down below. So I'm going to talk about all spoilers and that whole thing. And we also got some great cameos with Hawkmon. There's actually 2 Hawkmon, and it appears that there's also other tamers in this world, because the Hawkmon are talking about their tamer Kazuma, who was kidnapped by Petermon. And with this episode, you know, Petermon is actually a champion level Digimon, so it makes more sense for, you know, the tamers or heroes in this series to go up against them, because, you know, there's been other episodes where they've gone up against the ultimate level Digimon, and it's like, you know, really they can't defeat them, like we saw with Felismon a few episodes ago, where he's an ultimate, and he did concede the fact that he won, but he's like, I'm going to leave anyway because I have bigger plans. And actually, a cool plot thread as well is the fact that the Hawkmon were able to find Hiro and Gaomon, because they were told where he lives due to Clockmon. He's like, oh, go find Hiro. He'll help you. He can't say no. And then Hero's like, oh, is that right? Is that what Clockmon said? So it's cool that we have references to other characters from the previous episodes. And then before that all happened, too, there's a cute scene with Gaomon where he's actually like riding, you know, those little vacuum cleaners that, you know, are work by themselves. Gaomon sits atop one and is riding it. But yes, some great stuff right there. I will show you some of the pictures here. And once again, Kiyoshiro continues to be the standout of this series. Him and Jellymon and just his antics. But yeah, the villainous Digimon here is Petermon, which is a champion and essentially is like a parody of Peter Pan, right? And here's the 2 Hawkmons that show up looking for their tamer Kazuma-kun. And, you know, they show up, they're like, oh yeah, Clockmon told us where to find you, so here we are. And then eventually they rope Kiyoshiro into helping them, and Gaomon's taking a little nap up there, and Jellymon's, oh darling, you have to help. Of course you have to help. And he does this thing, because at first he doesn't want to help, and Jellymon says he's watching this new anime about the, you know, the elf wizard or something, and then he starts cosplaying, and he says, this is the power of the 3,000-year elf. And this is so fucking hilarious, because he goes to Kazuma's, you know, home and starts knocking on the door, and the mother's like, oh, I don't have a boy named Kazuma. And he's like, I'll use the ancient power of my 3,000-year-old elf to unlock the door. And he has Jellymon like phase through the door to unlock it, and she's doing like her cute little giggle, and he's like, haha, see, I opened the door with my ancient powers. And she's like, no, I did it. And he's like investigating, and it turns out that Petermon, you know, not only with kidnapping the children, but he erases their memories and the memories that everyone else had of the children. So, you know, that's something. And, you know, they race after him. He's kidnapping more and more Digimon and children. And he opens up the portal to Never Ever Land. And then what happens is we find this world of other Digimon and children. And there's this one right here. I think this one is called Alekmon. There's a red version that appears in the original anime series, but Alekmon is playing soccer with another, you know, little child, and he misses the goal. right? He's trying to deflect it, and the soccer ball goes past him. And he says, oh, if I was a little bit bigger, I could have blocked it. And then Petermon hears this. He's like, what did you say? How dare you say that? You mean to tell me you want to become a grown-up? Grown-ups stink, and they break their promises. And then he stabs the fucking soccer ball as punishment. Look at Electron just completely terrified. So we get this cool moment where all the tamer Digimon do their Digivolutions. You know, we got Tesla Jellymon, Simba Angoramon, and Gamon digivolves into Wezengamon, which is like the rhinoceros-looking thing with the guns, the guns for his tusks or whatever. I guess he's almost like an elephant then. You know, he has the guns on him, and they're firing away. And Petermon, his power is that he can basically sing a song and make everyone fall asleep and obey his wishes. So he has the children and the Digimon battling the heroes, until the Hawkmon digivolve, and I didn't know this was fucking possible, but the Hawkmon digivolved into Orcamon, which looks so fucking stupid. This looks so stupid, man. But I always thought Hawkmon digivolved into something else if you go off Adventure Zero 2. But they digivolve, and it is sort of established that they're the partner Digimon to this boy here, Kazuma. So I wonder if we'll ever see him again, or if this is just another one-off. And because they digivolve, all the other Digimon and all the other children see, and it's like, oh, this is so cool, let's digivolve. So everyone digivolves, you have Electmon digivolves, and all the others go at it, and they start facing against Petermon to defeat him once and for all. And then Hero says, you know, not all humans, or not humans, I should say, not all grown-ups break their promises, because just look at my father. You know, he's still a father, despite, you know, being absent for all this time in the digital world. But, you know, he sort of tells him that story to Petermon, and Petermon agrees and is like, oh, don't you break my promise. And then all of a sudden, because they're in this you know, alternate world, and then all of a sudden this ship crashes through, this fucking pirate ship, and we meet Captain Hookmon. Like, you gotta be kidding me, bro. There's no, I don't have an anime picture of him, but this is close enough. You know, Captain fucking Hookmon shows up. And he starts dueling, because we see here that, Petermon has a sword, so they both use their swords and start dueling each other. They're like, come with me if you want adventures. I'm a grown-up, but we can have adventures. So Petermon goes off with Captain Hookmon, and I was dying in this episode. It was absolutely hilarious, particularly this fucker with Kyoshiro. This is the power of a 3,000-year-old elf with his role-playing, and then Jellymon, like, oh, they don't have any powers. That's me opening the door. And, like, I couldn't believe, because, you know, Petermon, I'm, like, putting the two and two together, because they kept saying Never Everland, so I'm like, oh, this is Peter Pan. But just the fact that there's a Digimon called Captain Hookmon, I mean, it's too good to be true. It's absolutely hilarious. I enjoyed this episode. I know some people are kind of like getting sour on the series, and I'm sort of sour on certain episodes. Like, some are better than others, that's for sure. But this one was a lot of fun. I would still like to eventually see a multi-part episode where they're facing off against one villain, but, you know, it is what it is. We get some good episodes, we get some bad episodes, and this one was definitely very entertaining. I was laughing my ass off for quite a few scenes. And, you know, I can't wait to see what happens next. I was looking at the synopsis because, you know, they have a few of the synopsis for episodes, like the next 3 or 4 coming out. And one of them mentions the fact that the Black Tailmon and Black Agumon appear again. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with them. And obviously they're going to keep going with this Gullus Galamon storyline where, you know, he's going to have to appear again at some point. So we'll see. And, you know, I enjoyed this one. I thought it was definitely over the top and hilarious. And... you know, where is it again? I guess, like, seriously, I was dying when I saw this. Oh my god! And then Jellymon's still picking on him. Like, she's like, "Oh, he found this new anime series that he likes about the 3,000-year-old elf." Fucking hilarious. So, thanks, guys. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below, and stay tuned for my next review of Digimon Ghost Game sometime next week. And then all sorts of great stuff this week. I'll have a review of Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 on Monday. A review of Shenmue Episode 2. Some Fairy Tail manga reviews. Some more streams during the week. All sorts of great stuff. So thanks, guys. Have a great day. We'll talk to you later.